Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this little webinar for the post-detox training call. So we're here, we're almost to the end of the 5 days, and I want to congratulate you and wrap this up for you guys. So let's get started with that. I'm so excited that this week, well, I think that it flew by. I don't know about you guys. I hope you think it went well. And so we're coming to the end, and you've made it. You've made it to the end. You've spent the last 5 days focused on your health and well-being. And so that in alone is reason for celebration. And I want to acknowledge the amount of time and energy that it takes and just how amazing it is that you were able to do this for yourself. And let's not take that lightly. So if you might be wondering what's next, which is a very natural thing to do. So during this time, I'm going to share with you some ideas for how you can transition out of the detox so that you can keep the momentum going and keep moving forward in your health journey. So you'll be able to choose which suggestions are the most appropriate for you and your needs. Okay, so first I want you to pat yourself on the back. Sorry I'm not there in person to do it for you, but think about what you did well over the last week. I've noticed that in our culture we tend to focus on things like what went wrong with something. It's common to think, well, that didn't work so well, or I would change that, or I should have done that better. But you know what? At the end of the day, we need to congratulate ourselves for what we did accomplish, and give yourself that space and chance, and then go from there. So, if you're feeling really great, pay attention to what feels different in your body, your mind, your spirit. And let's talk about the different options you have as the group Detox program comes to a close. First, I wanted to let you know that if you'd like to dig deeper and give your body even more of a break, you can easily extend the detox to 10 days. There's no hard and fast rules that you have to stop, but I only made it 5 days to show you that you could, hopefully do it, and it's an easy start with 5 days. So, you can repeat the recipes you have on hand now. You can do a second shopping trip. You can keep going, make your own recipes, get creative. But as far as, other things, like if you want to continue the supplements, if you started them, you may. If you do, I'd love to see how that's going for you, what you're thinking, how your body's reacting. Some of you have messaged to tell me you absolutely love the food and the style of eating, which I love hearing. And if that's the case for you, you are welcome to just keep eating this way. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with focusing on fresh whole foods. And if you can't do it 100%, just do it a little more than you were. Just, keep progressing, have a consciousness of it. And that's all good. And, also, like if you were doing any of the milk thistle during the detox, you can, it can decline in efficacy, and if it's used all the time. So you'll probably want to, I recommend taking it daily for 2 weeks and then stopping it for 2 weeks. So an off and on type thing with that. If you weren't doing milk thistle, don't worry about it. Or, maybe in the future you want to look into that. And I know many of you are feeling great and you're ready to go back to some of your favorite foods that were not included this week. But let's talk about how to safely reintroduce the foods that you can, so you can see which foods are supporting your body and your goals and which might be creating problems. Ideally, you'll slowly reintroduce the top 3 inflammatory foods that we cut out. So that would be gluten, dairy, and sugar. So those are the three biggies. And add them back in one at a time so you can really get a sense of how that impacts your body. So for example, you may try to add dairy back for a few days and still avoid the gluten and sugar. So however you want to do. Now, if you notice that you start to bloat, get a runny nose, or have digestive distress, try cutting dairy out again to see if the symptoms subside. Once you've got a handle on how dairy impacts your body, you can follow the same reintroduction process with the gluten and sugar. However you would like to try that process. Additionally, I would love for you to pick one new healthy habit from the detox and that you're going to keep doing. And hopefully you did do at least one, I hope, this week. If not, pick one out and start it. Whether that's the Epsom salt baths, the hot lemon water in the morning, or simply making sure you eat a big pile of green vegetables, leafy greens every day. Throw it in your blender or your Vitamix or NutriBullet, whatever you have. If you don't have something like that, but you've been on your mind to get one, well, put it as one of your goals to get that certain product. And then when you get it, you'll have all these recipes ready to go, right? And one thing you can do to add to your schedule that's going to help you down this path is just pick your favorite thing that you added and just continue it. Just continue it regularly. Incorporate it into your daily, weekly schedule. Okay, so, and I'd love to know how that's going for you. Conversely, I'd also encourage you to choose one bad habit that you won't pick up again. So what's one thing that you have been doing that you know is not the best for you and that you just keep doing it, right? Automatically. It happens, but now you're really ready to leave it behind, I hope. Or you're getting there, right? You're on the path to getting rid of this habit. Maybe that's eating a food, whether it's gluten, dairy, sugar, eggs, something else entirely, I don't know, that it doesn't really agree with you, but you eat it anyway. Maybe it's mindlessly grabbing candy from a bowl or your coworker's desk, whatever. Some of us who have had office experiences know how that is. Choose one of those habits that you're uncomfortable. Just leave it in the past and let go. So letting go is a great thing. And you feel so empowered. The reason I suggest you choose one healthy habit and one unhealthy habit is because over time, that gives you a great impact on your health. Over the course of a year, changing 2 habits, adding one good one, dropping a bad one can make a really big difference. And if these feel too overwhelming, I have a really simple suggestion I'd like to make. Stick with the Dirty Dozen guide. Remember, it was in the environmental working groups website, and I had a link in there in one of the documents. So check that out. I hope that you have by now, but that's a perfect way to start, in my opinion. That's one of the first things I did when I was trying to start this little change in my life. And so, and I'm not perfect with it yet either, but it's like the knowledge of it is there, and it's so much more conscious of it. It slowly starts to make a difference. And so the Dirty Dozen is a list that puts, I said, every year, the 12 items of produce that have the most pesticides on them. And by simply buying those 12 items organically, you can cut down on 80% of your pesticide consumption. That's a lot. That's a very minor change for a very big payoff. So, what's great about the Dirty Dozen is that it helps your wallet too, because I know that buying organically grown produce can be more expensive, but this list helps you prioritize where it's most important to buy organically. So in some cases, it would actually save people money who are trying to go all organic, because then they don't have that you have a little more of a comfort zone there. So now, finally, and probably most importantly, I'd like to ask you to pay attention to what's happening in your body when you go back to eating the way you used to eat, if that's what you're going to do inevitably. So are you getting achy joints? If so, it's very likely that gluten is a problem. Are you getting a stuffy nose? That's actually a very common dairy problem. If you have energy that is just not consistent, or it's all over the board, it's probably because there's too much sugar sneaking back into your diet. So sugar really messes with our blood sugar and energy. I can personally attest to that for sure, and have definitely a lot of experiences growing up with that. But the truth is that what we eat affects us. That's the bottom line. There's just no way around it. If you're noticing that you're getting certain symptoms, try cleaning up your diet again and then adding things back one by one. If you aren't sure if it's gluten or dairy, cut them both out for a week and then add just gluten back for a few days. If you start feeling yucky again, which does happen, cut it out. Try the same with dairy. If you don't feel well when you eat dairy, or whatever, just get what I'm saying. Take it out. As you've learned this week, it's actually not that hard to cut those foods out. I hope that you felt that way. I actually thought it would be a lot harder than it was. I think dairy was easier than I thought, and the gluten was a little bit more difficult because there's so much and so many things we don't even realize. But it's just those foods we've become so dependent on in our culture. You can eat tasty food that has you feeling great and supports your health. So that's like a perfect example is with processed food. If it comes in a box, a plastic container, or something like that, it didn't come from the earth. It's not natural. Someone would have added additives, ingredients to that to change it. So to modify it. So we'll keep going here. I could go on about that. But I also wanted to mention that if you're wondering about other ways you can improve your health and well-being, I would be more than happy to connect with you privately in more of a one-on-one health coaching situation. And so in that type of program, you'd get personalized attention. Obviously, this is not too personalized, but we're able to work towards your ultimate health and wellness goals individually. And you might be thinking, well, I don't really know. They're very broad goals. I don't have anything specific, but that's the great thing is that you can really narrow it down when you have someone just completely focused on you. Like, how often does that happen that other people are just focused on you? I know when I went through the process, it was like amazing. Like, oh my gosh, this person really cares about me and is actually listening to me. And, that's kind of taken for granted. Like, it doesn't happen as regularly as we might want it to in daily life with all our schedules and responsibilities. So accountability can be a huge, huge thing, helpful thing. So if you're curious about that, I'd love to spend some time chatting privately. Just meet for coffee, tea, doesn't have to be coffee, whatever, wherever, we'll figure that out. But and there would be no charge just to chat about that. But anyway, so if you could feel good in 5 days, just imagine what would be possible if we focused on a longer term program, like 12 weeks. 3 months is not that long of a time, but it would get something established in a real way. So if that's of interest to you, let me know. Also, I want to let you know that I'll be running more, or I hope to run more of these programs seasonally, like I mentioned before. and maybe even a few other programs that I work out here. So I'm kind of excited to see what's coming too, because I just honestly don't know yet. It's exciting. So I love to support other people in their health in any way, health, wellness, lifestyle. This isn't hardcore nutritionist stuff. This isn't a dietitian, and it's not specific diet per se. Now, when we do the detoxes, that's a different story, because we do have, of course, certain guidelines, and like we just did. So, but again, I just want you to know how grateful I am for you participating in this with me, giving me your faith and trust and going for it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you're proud of your accomplishments and your efforts. And honestly, if you did have to cheat here or there, if something, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. This was possibly your first time ever doing anything like this. So again, thank you. Here's to your health and wellness. And I'm excited for you to keep moving forward, and let's keep in touch and see, all good things in the future for everybody. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Bye for now. Okay.